So let's begin today in a standing position toward the back of your mat. Just seeing that the feet are right underneath the hips, letting your tailbone tuck down toward the floor, pulling the navel in toward the spine, feeling your core activate. As you draw your inner thighs in and up toward each other, feeling the legs firing up, just letting the shoulders relax away from the ears, letting the jaw hang heavy, releasing any tension in the forehead and the eyebrows. You can turn your palms to face outward with your fingertips reaching toward the floor, feeling this standing position activate. Feeling yourself rooted down to the earth through the soles of the feet, with the crown of the head lifting up toward the sky. Feel your head over your heart, over your hips, over your heels. And as you start to notice the breath. As you inhale, you lift up through the heart and through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, you ground down through the feet. Inhale, feel the collarbones broaden. And exhale, let the fingertips reach toward the floor. On your next inhale, sweep both arms up and over your head. Feel the bottom of the ribs tuck back in toward the spine. Feel the biceps come in line with the ears. Circle out the wrists, maybe wiggle out the fingers a bit. Going in both directions. Just being sure to keep some length in your lower back. So you're not sticking your butt out, you're keeping everything tucked in. And then on your next exhale, drop your left arm down and reach toward the left side of your mat with your right hand, stretching out the right side of the body. So your left hand can be wherever it's comfortable. It can be reaching down on your thigh, it can be on your hip, or if there's another position that feels better, it can be there. Let's focus on feeling the space from the outside edge of your right foot through the side body and through the fingertips. But also keeping some length in the left side of your body as well, so not crunching in too deeply to the left side. And letting your first goal to be to reach up, and then reaching over comes second. Inhale, reach both arms back up. And exhale, take that to the other side. Left arm reaches toward the right side of your mat. And just playing around. So keeping sure to keep length in the spine. On your inhales, you can find more length, and on your exhales, you can bend a little deeper. Nothing about the poses today has to be rigid. So you can find movement in poses, or you can find stillness. Maybe stillness is calling to you. Just listening to your body at all times. On your next inhale, reach both arms back up. And exhale, cactus your arms, open up the heart. Holding here for a few breaths. Feeling the collarbones broaden, feeling the backs of the hands and the shoulder blades and elbows reaching toward each other. But still keeping your tailbone tucking down, still keeping length in the lower back. Tucking the ribs back under. So really feeling this back bend concentrating on your upper back. Inhale, reach both arms back up. And exhale, cactus the arms, open the heart. One more time. Another breath here. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, hinge at your hips and dive forward with a flat back for as far as you can. And then whenever you need to curl at the spine, just allow the spine to curl, allow the knees to bend. Allow the belly to rest on the thighs, coming into your forward fold. And let the head dangle yes and no. Let the arms rest on the floor, or you can grab opposite elbows, or maybe you reach the arms behind the legs, grabbing opposite elbows. If there's any expression with the arms that feels better than what I suggested, feel free to take that. Even with the knees bent, start to lift your sit bones a little bit higher and start to shift your weight more toward the balls of the feet. Be soft in the belly. Each exhale, feel your spine lengthening a little bit more. The space from your tailbone through the low, middle, upper back, the neck, and the crown of the head. Feeling each vertebrae separating a little bit more. Now inhale up to your halfway lift, keeping the belly pulled in, feeling this tabletop in the spine from the low, middle, upper back, and the neck, crown of the head. The hands can just be hanging. They can be on your shins, but you're not putting weight on the hands wherever they are. Your core is what's holding you up here. And feeling this hinge at the hips. Seeing how far up you have to come for the spine to be straight. Another breath here. And exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, rise yourself back up to stand, reaching the arms out and up. And exhale, cactus the arms, open the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reaching all the way up. Exhale, cactus the arms, open up the heart. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Now from your forward fold this time, we'll walk the hands forward but super slowly, and we're not coming totally into our down dog yet. Bring your hands to about the center of your mat. So you're in a really short down dog stance. You can even be on the fingertips and just moving the hands forward slightly so that you really feel this length growing from the hips through the bottom of the rib cage, through the fingertips. Pulling the navel up to the spine, feeling this really nice stretch down the backs of the legs, and the knees can be bent as much as you need to have them bent here. Now leaving your hands shoulder width distance, wrist creases parallel to the front edge of the mat, rooting down in the hands just like we would in down dog or tabletop. Start to step your feet as wide as your mat. So you're in a wide-legged, short down dog. So keep everything the same as you would in a regular down dog. Keep lifting the sit bones higher. Now shift more weight into your left hand and reach for your left ankle with your right hand. And grab the outside of the ankle, just like this, with the thumbs pointing up. And then start to look underneath your left armpit. Shift your hips back to center. They might want to come over to the left. Bringing them back to center, noticing how this feels in the back, in the legs. Breathing. You can always adjust your stance to come shorter if this is proving difficult. Another breath here. Looking toward the ceiling. And then release your right hand. You can come back to your short to wide down dog. Just feel the difference in the legs and the spine. And then we'll shift more weight into the right hand as you reach back for the outside of your right ankle with the left hand. We'll do the same thing on this side. So start to look underneath the armpit, the right armpit. You can maybe put a bend in your left arm, pulling you a little closer. And then shifting your weight, your hips back square to the floor. So the hips might want to come off to the right. So just bring them back to center. You can take a peek at them. Really looking under the armpit toward the ceiling. You might not get there, but just feeling what that would feel like. Another breath here. And then just release your hand back to your short, wide down dog. Take another breath here. Maybe you stretch out the feet, lifting the heels up over the balls of the feet. And then you start to heel toe your feet back to hips distance, about 2 fists in between the feet. And then just continue to walk your hands forward, but I encourage you to move really slowly, so that you feel the difference at every distance of feet to hands. And we'll come eventually into our full down dog. So whatever that distance is for you today, knowing that any given day, our bodies are going to feel different. So honoring and trusting where your body is today. Not forcing your body into a position that you got into yesterday, just because you got into it yesterday. Just taking each day with fresh eyes, with a fresh mind. Letting your body be at its natural stopping point and finding your breath, finding any movements that are calling to you. Maybe this is stillness with the heels reaching toward the floor. Maybe you're pedaling out the feet, wagging the tail side to side. Broaden the shoulder blades, wrapping the triceps in toward the ears, letting the shoulders be in a neutral position. Another breath here. On your next inhale, we'll roll the body forward into a plank position, so adjusting your hands and feet as you need to. Always an option to bring one knee down or both knees down if you need some support today. But really feel the broadness of the collarbones, broadness of the shoulder blades as well, pushing the ground away from you, lifting the back of the heart, lifting the navel to the spine, reaching through the heels and through the crown of the head. Exhale, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll through into a plank. And exhale, lift the sit bones, down dog. One more like that. Inhale, waving the body through. And exhale, lifting the sit bones. Now inhale, wave the body through to plank and slowly lower the knees to the floor. Coming into our tabletop position, take a few cat-cows. Inhaling to open the heart, looking up, lifting the sit bones. Exhaling to your cat pose, lifting the back of the heart, tucking the chin and the tailbone. Just moving through these at your own pace with your own breath. These movements can be as subtle or as exaggerated as feels good. Notice any sensations you're feeling. And adjusting yourself as you need to. Start to free up the movement. So if you'd like to roll out the shoulders and maybe wag the tail, or just move in any sort of way that feels good. Maybe the cat-cows feel good. So you can trust whatever your first instinct is as far as movement goes. It's waking up the spine, getting the fluid moving around the spinal column. Maybe shifting your hips side to side, stretching out the hips. Coming back to your neutral tabletop, we'll start to stretch out the shoulders in a thread the needle. So you can inhale, reach your left arm out to the side and up. Your heart opens to the left, lifting up and out of your right shoulder. And exhale, thread the needle, bringing the left shoulder and left ear to the ground. And your options with the right arm, you can push into this hand, looking toward the ceiling a little bit more. You can walk your fingertips forward, getting some more length in the right body, or you can reach this arm back behind you. And as always, if there's something else that feels better that I didn't mention, feel free. As you inhale, find some length in the spine. And as you exhale, feel yourself twisting a little deeper, pushing into the left shoulder. Another 2 breaths here. Now bringing your right hand back to the ground in front of your face if it's left. Push into that hand, unwinding the left arm, bringing it all the way back out and up. And exhale, release back to your tabletop. Taking that on the other side now, you can inhale, reach your right arm out to the side and up, heart opening to your right, lifting out of the left shoulder, reaching. And exhale, thread the needle, right shoulder, right ear, coming to the ground. Same thing on this side. You can push into this hand, twisting a little deeper. You can walk the left fingertips forward, reaching long, or reach that arm back behind your back. Just taking whatever variation you did on the other side. Inhale, finding some length in the spine, shifting your sit bones back to center. And as you exhale, twisting deeper, looking more toward the ceiling. Another breath here. You can bring your left hand back to the ground in front of your face if it has left. And we'll unwind as you inhale, pushing into that hand. Right arm comes all the way back out and up. And exhale, release down, tabletop. Take a breath here. And as you exhale, bend your left elbow, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, back up. And exhale, bend your right elbow, looking over the left shoulder. You can move a few times like this. And maybe your elbow comes all the way to the floor. Maybe it just bends a little bit. However your body is coming into this pose is perfect. Coming back up to center when you feel ready. We'll just walk the hands forward and melt the heart down into puppy pose, getting really deep into the shoulders to warm up today. Sending your breath to the space between the shoulder blades. Each exhale, drawing your shoulder blades closer together. Each inhale, lifting your sit bones a little higher. And exhaling to surrender in the front of the heart. Now from here, just let your sit bones become heavy, dragging yourself back to your child's pose. Any expression with the arms is fine. You can keep them reaching forward. You can stack them under the forehead or bring them back behind you for passive shoulders. Maybe you shake your head no side to side, massaging the forehead, either against the floor or the hands. Staying with your breath. Now from here, you can reach the arms forward if they weren't already. Start to activate your child's pose, so rooting into the hands so much so that the arms lift off the mat. Start to drag the floor toward the knees, Tuck your toes under and lift your sit bones back and up, downward facing dog. 2 big breaths here, letting it go. And then bend the knees, look up toward the top of your mat, walk your feet to meet your hands. No rush at all. Landing in a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Just check back in with yourself. Feel your heartbeat. Notice anything that was built up during what we've done so far. Come back to the breath. Relax the forehead, eyebrows, and jaw. And let the shoulders fall down your back. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Leave your right foot where it is. Plant the hands around the right foot and step your left toes back to warrior 2 legs. So your left foot's coming parallel to the back edge of the mat, and your heels are either in line with each other or your front heels intersecting your back arch. Put your finger on your second toe and draw a line back to your ankle. It should be right in the center of your ankle. And if you keep drawing that line, it should be right in the center of your knee. Now start to walk both your hands to the left side of your mat, probably coming off of the mat. And take down dog arms. So channeling your down dog, leaving everything about your feet the same. Maybe walking them further until you feel this really nice stretch in the inside of your right hip. Keeping the hips in line with the ankles. So noticing maybe they're coming back, maybe they're coming forward, but find that middle ground. Really channel these down dog arms. So keep the collarbones and shoulder blades broad. Shoulders are at a neutral position, not hugged up to the ears, not drawing too far down the back. Just finding that middle ground. The neck and the head release, relax. Awesome. Another breath here. And then you can walk your hands back toward the front of your mat. Cartwheel your hands up to your warrior 2. So noticing how this feels in your hips, adjusting your stance in any way that you need to. Feeling the arms reaching from your heart center. Keeping your front knee over that front ankle, maybe lifting the toes, really feeling the 4 corners of the feet. And then you'll bend your right arm, bringing the elbow in front of the face, and thread your left arm underneath, coming into eagle arms. So maybe just the backs of your hands touch like this, or maybe you wrap around so the palms can touch each other. As you inhale, lift the elbows up to eye level or even higher. And as you exhale, draw the elbows back down toward the chest. Inhale, reaching the elbows. And exhaling them down. So just move a few more times with your own breath. But don't forget the legs. So keep everything about the legs the same. Keep the tailbone tucking down, lengthen the low back, crown of the head staying, reaching up. Just isolating the movement to your arms. So doing your best to keep everything firm and sturdy, except the arms, squeezing the inner arms in toward each other. One more, just like that. Inhaling the elbows up, exhaling down. Now, release the arms, reach them long and wide. And then as you exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down, framing your front foot. Lift your back heel, step back to a plank position, and you can move through a vinyasa flow of your choice. So you can lower down to the ground, to your baby cobra, or if you have chaturanga and up dog in your practice, you can take that, or you can even come just into your tabletop and take a cat-cow. Flows are always optional. You always have the option to just come right to your down dog or your tabletop. Maybe down dog is feeling tough today, so tabletop can be your down dog. On your next inhale, step your left foot forward in between the hands and pivot your back heel parallel to the back edge of the mat, or your two legs on the other side this time. So checking in with your alignment, you can put your finger on your second toe, drawing a line to the center of the ankle, to the center of the knee, seeing that line up with your back leg as well. And then just start to walk your hands to the right. Down dog arms, down dog hands, but keeping everything about the legs the same. So noticing what shifts as you do this. Maybe you really start to lean back. Maybe the knee comes way over the ankle. And just, so moving really slowly so that you can notice when the things about your foundation start to shift and change. And seeing if you can just leave that all really firm and sturdy. Feeling the inner thighs drawing in toward each other. Feeling the feet reaching into the earth. Feeling this power and strength of your legs. Feeling the broadness of your collarbones and shoulder blades. Another breath here. Then you can walk your hands back toward your foot and cartwheel your hands up to Warrior Two on the other side. So same thing here, just adjusting your stance in any ways you need to. Maybe lifting the toes for a moment, feeling the four corners of the feet, and then gripping the toes back down for extra stability. Arms are reaching from the heart center, feeling the chest and heart really proud. Tailbone tucking down toward the mat, crown of the head lifting up, feeling this really straight line in the spine. Now bend your left elbow, bringing that in front of the face, and start to thread your right elbow underneath, coming to eagle arms on the other side. So maybe the palms touch, maybe just the backs of the hands. Wherever you are is perfect. As you inhale, lift the elbows up. And as you exhale, bring them back down. So same thing on this side. You can move as quickly or as slowly as feels good for you. Doing your best to keep everything about your body in the exact same sturdy position, everything except the shoulders and the arms. Squeezing the arms toward each other. Pushing the hands into each other. Feeling any kinks or creaks as they come. And let's do one more time. Inhaling the elbows up. Exhaling them down. And you can release the arms, reach them long and wide, feeling that difference. And then we'll cartwheel the hands down, framing the front foot. Lift your back heel, this time step forward into a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll move through a similar flow on either side when you're ready. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, release. This time leaving your left foot forward. Step your right toes back into your Warrior Two legs. Walk your hands over, coming into that down dog, Warrior Two. And then walk your hands back, framing the front foot. Cartwheel your hands up, Warrior Two. Flip your front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior, reaching up and then back. Feeling the space from your left hip crease through the fingertips. Maybe your hand rests on the thigh, maybe on the calf, or maybe to your hip. whatever position makes you feel the most supported. Inhale, arms come back to center. Start to straighten out your front leg and we'll come into our triangle pose, shifting your hips back, reaching forward as far as you can, and then letting your left fingertips reach toward the ground and the right fingertips reach up. Imagining that there's chopsticks on your side bodies, keeping the side bodies long. Just getting every limb as long as possible, reaching through the crown of the head. We'll rebend the front leg, bring the arms back to center. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down, frame your front foot, lift your back heel, step back to a plank, move through a flow of your choice, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Inhale, step your right foot forward, warrior two legs. Walk your hands to the left side of the mat, warrior two, down dog. And bring the hands back to center. Cartwheel the hands up, warrior two. Flip the front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Bringing the left hand wherever you feel most supported in the spine. And then we'll bring the hands back to center, warrior two. Straighten out your front leg, setting up for triangle, shifting the hips back, reaching forward as far as you can, and then letting right fingertips reach down, left fingertips reach up. Strong in the core, pulling the pelvic floor toward the navel, reaching through the crown of the head, every limb as long as you possibly can get it. Inhale to rebend your front leg, bring the arms back to center. And this time, we'll straighten out the front leg, bring your toes to face the corners of your mat. Heels are pointing in toward each other. You can bring the hands wherever they're comfortable, be on the hips or at heart center, and we'll come into our goddess squat. So as you exhale, you can sink the hips down, letting the movement originate from your tailbone, feeling as if it's being pulled toward the floor. Letting the knees move back behind you. You can imagine that there's strings on your knees, pulling them back behind you, feeling the hips open up. Again, lifting the toes to really feel the feet rooting into the mat. Imagine that there's another string from your tailbone through the spine and the crown of the head, pulling you up just as much as it's pulling you down. So feeling that complete straight line in the spine. Maybe you're a little wobbly here, letting yourself wobble. And if you fall, just getting right back up. Feeling everything pushing to the center line of your body, keeping the core tight. And we'll bring the hands to the insides of the knees, and we'll take this nice shoulder stretch. So you can exhale, drop the right shoulder down, look over the left. Inhale to center, and take that to the other side. Move a few times like this, at your own pace. When you feel even, you can come back to center. Slowly straighten out your legs. Bring the feet parallel to each other this time. Hands can come to the hips as you inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge at your hips to your wide-legged forward fold. So you can keep the hands here if this feels really good for you. You can bring them to the floor in front of the face. You can walk the hands back so they're even with the heels. Or you can grab the ankles or reach them down so the palms of your hands are on the ground, with the fingertips pointing back behind you. Or, as always, if there's any expression with the arms that I do not say that feels better to you, trust your body. And same thing as in a regular forward fold, lifting the energy through your sit bones. So feeling the energy coming through the space in between your sit bones, lifting that a little higher, and feeling that sensation of an arch in your low back. Not getting there, but feeling that sensation. And then shifting your weight toward the balls of the feet, so to ensure that this stays a forward fold, coming forward first. and then down. Keeping the spine long. Maybe on your inhales you find more length. Maybe on your exhales you bend deeper. Let the belly be soft. Let the forehead, the eyebrows, and the jaw relax. 2 more breaths here. And then we'll slowly start to walk your hands up your legs. Bring yourself back up to stand, pausing at the top. Maybe you bring a hand to the belly, a hand to the heart. Allow the blood to settle. Allow your vision to return if it's left. Feel the pulse running through your body. From here, we'll pivot back to face the front of your mat and just step your left foot up to meet your right. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. And exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to do a few balancing postures now on either side before we start to cool down. So when you feel ready, you can start to shift more weight into the left side of your body. And if you're working on balancing stuff and you have lots of room for improvement, you can just stay on both your feet, but just practice hovering one foot off of the ground at a time. So we're working on the left side to start. So maybe you're just hovering your right foot off the ground. Maybe this is challenging enough for you today. And balancing particularly changes on any given day. So just being okay with wherever you are. And maybe you start to hug your right knee closer to the chest, interlacing the hands in front of the shin, keeping the tailbone reaching down, crown of the head staying reaching up. And you can keep your right foot really flexed. Find a focal point, find a spot that's not moving, stare there, your drishti. And then release your left hand. You can bring it to your hip, you can reach it out to the side for extra balance. Maybe you take a mudra with the thumb and the pointer touching. And start to open up your right hip, bringing your foot and knee to point towards your right. Awesome. Breathing. Keeping the core active. And maybe you stay here, or maybe you bring the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left thigh into a tree pose. You can take any expression with the arms that feels good. You can bring them to heart center. You can reach them long or high. You can even keep them on the hips if that feels better. Is keep the standing leg pushing into the bouncing foot just as much as the bouncing foot is pushing into the standing leg. Keep your knee pulling back behind you. Draw energy up through the sole of your left foot, all the way through the crown of the head. Awesome. Now from here, just gently release your foot. Keep it flexed and now point it toward the ground. And from here, we'll come into warrior 3. So kicking your right foot as if you were to stand on the wall behind you, naturally hinging at your hips. The hands can be on the hips, so you make sure to keep them square to the floor, or they can even be reaching in front of you if you want an extra challenge. But letting yourself wobble, letting yourself fall, keeping the core tight, feeling the space from your heel through the entire body and the crown of the head. Maybe using something to help you with balance. And then we'll slowly allow your hands to find the mat or blocks if you have them. And we'll come right into our standing split. So just keeping your back foot straight, no matter what you do. It can even be lifted off the mat this much. Keeping it straight, keeping the hips square to the mat so your hips aren't stacked on top of each other. We're coming into this standing split, feeling a really big stretch down the left hamstring. You can point the foot, you can flex the foot, you can floint the foot, whatever feels better. One more breath. And then really slowly lower your right foot behind your left. So your right foot is coming to the left side of your left foot slowly. And just fold here. Getting this funky, deep stretch through the hamstrings. And then you can unwind the feet, bringing your right foot to the right side of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Letting your breath catch up with you. Letting your vision return. When you're ready, we'll do that on the other side. So again, we'll shift the weight into the right side of the body. Maybe your left foot just hovers. Find your focal point. And if you feel ready and steady, can hug your left knee into the chest. Pulling your shoulders back into place. So noticing if the shoulders are really coming forward or if you're hunching to achieve this. See if you can just stand up straight. And maybe you just grab the thigh in order to stand up straight. Lots of options. So letting your posture be first. Keeping your left foot really flexed as if you were to stand on the floor. Heart's reaching toward the thigh. Thighs reaching toward the heart. And now option 2, release your right hand, reaching it either out to the side into a mudra or to your hip, wherever feels more steady. And slowly, with control, open up your left hip. So keeping the foot as if you were to stand on the floor, just drawing the knee toward the back of the room behind you. Maybe you stay here, maybe this is good for you, or option to come into your tree pose. Just doing whatever you did on the other side. So pushing your balancing leg into, or your standing leg into your balancing foot. Your balancing foot back into your standing leg. Letting all the energy consolidate to the center line of your body. Knee is reaching back behind you, hip is opening up. Keep your pelvic floor active. Keep your whole lower belly really active here. Breathing. Start to slowly, with control, release your tree pose, and we'll come into our warrior 3. So starting to kick your left foot back as if you were to stand on the wall back behind you. Hands can be on the hips, just naturally hinging at your hips. Keeping the hips square to the floor, toes pointing toward the ground, or the toes can be pointed. I find to have more balance with the foot flexed. Feeling that straight line from the heel through the leg, the spine and crown of the head. And then slowly, with control, bringing your hands to the ground into your standing split. So lifting your left foot as high as it goes while keeping the hips square to the mat. Keeping the back leg straight. So it doesn't do you much good if your knee is bent and lifted really high. You want to stay straight. And even if it's this far off the ground, that is okay. Another breath. And then slowly, with control, lowering your left foot to the right side of your right foot. So just threading that behind you and folding here. Letting it go. And unwinding your left foot into your regular forward fold. Inhale, long spine, half lift. And exhale, release. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back to a tabletop position. Untuck the toes, sit the hips on the heels, coming into child's pose. Your version of child's pose. Letting the belly rest. Letting the face relax. Each exhale, the hips fall a little bit closer to the heels. And slowly, whenever you're ready, no rush at all, come up to a seat on your heels. Shift your weight to either side as you bring the legs out long in front of you. You can bring your hands back behind you for some support as you bring the soles of your feet to the ground and as wide as the mat. And take a few windshield wipers back and forth at the knees, moving a little slower than you might normally so that you can really pay close attention to each part of your glutes that are making contact with the floor as it makes contact with the floor. Massaging out these powerful muscles in our body. And then next time both your knees are falling to the right, you can leave them there. And then start to walk your left fingertips around in front of you. And then walking both hands back behind you. So turning your shoulders square to the mat, fingertips facing the back of your mat. You can stay up here like this, or come down onto the forearms, maybe onto stacked fists, into your deer pose. So if you look at your hips are squared to the right, and your shoulders are squared to the floor. So feeling this nice twist in the torso, changing up gravity a little bit from how we normally do. Letting the navel be soft, sinking closer to the spine. Feeling this nice internal rotation in your left hip. If you want to come a little bit deeper for these last few breaths, you can stack the forearms on top of each other and turn onto your left cheek, looking off to the left. Just twisting up the spine or up the neck as well. Just an option. And gently on your next inhale, you can come back onto the hands if you left the hands. Walk them both back the way they came. Back to center. Hands come back behind you as you bring the knees back to center. A few windshield wipers just to reset. Maybe counter in the spine, lifting the heart. Having a slight arch in the upper back, if that feels good. And then you can leave both of your knees dropped off to the left side of your mat. And then circle your right arm around in front of you and then coming back behind you so the fingers point to the back of the mat. And you can stay up here if you're feeling this twist quite deeply. Just noticing what's twisting. So looking at your hips, seeing that they're squared to the left side of the room, and then looking at your shoulders, seeing that they're squared to the floor, knowing that this is a twist. Coming onto your forearms if you did so on the other side. Letting out big exhales. Feel this nice internal rotation in your right hip. Feel the heart sinking closer to the floor. Face muscles are all relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. Maybe you stack the forearms if you did so on the other side, or just the hands, and you turn onto the right cheek, twisting up the neck as well. And don't worry if that doesn't seem like a thing that's possible for you today. Just stay wherever your natural stopping point is. The furthest you can go is the same thing as the furthest I can go. They're both our personal limits. And that is what yoga is all about, just finding your own personal limit and finding your peace, finding your breath, finding softness there. So there's no use in going further than your limit if you can't breathe, if you can't find some peace and calm. Take another breath here. We'll slowly begin to come back onto the hands if you left them. Walk the hands back the way you came, bringing the knees back to center. You take a few more windshield wipers if you'd like, just to reset. And then whenever you're ready, you can gently lower yourself down to your back, grabbing the backs of the thighs, hugging the knees toward the chest as you arrive, gently rocking side to side. And if there's any little movements that you'd like to take before we come to our resting pose, feel free to do so. Whenever you're ready, you can reach both of your feet and both your hands up toward the ceiling, releasing all the muscles in the legs and arms, maybe shaking them out to ensure that, and letting them just rest in their sockets. Arms resting in the shoulder sockets, legs resting in the hips. All the organs of the belly resting toward the back body. The four corners of your torso pinned against the mat by the weight of your limbs and gravity. Allowing any energy that doesn't serve you to exit your body through the soles of the feet or through the palms of the hands. As all the positive healing energy of this practice is solidified within your body, soaking in to every cell of your being. When you're ready, you can come into your happy baby, reaching for the big toes with the peace fingers or the outside edges of the feet, or the ankles, the shins, or the knees, just whatever, or the thighs, sorry, whatever is available to you. Maybe just finding that stillness, drawing the hips and shoulders toward the floor, or maybe you rock side to side. Just channeling your inner happy baby. As you're ready, let the soles of the feet find each other and slowly lower outside edges of the feet to find the mat beneath your hips, with the knees falling off to the sides. Maybe rolling the shoulder blades under the spine, palms facing up by your side to Supta Baddha Konasana, or your reclined bound ankle pose. Option to bring your hands to the low belly with a diamond shape with the thumbs and pointers touching. Or maybe one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Or any expression that feels natural to you. This pose feels really good for you. You're welcome to stay for your final Shavasana right here. Or if you feel ready to straighten out your legs at any point, and come into your final resting pose, your final Shavasana. Allowing your body to be fully supported by the mat beneath you. Releasing the need to hold anything up. Letting your brain sink back toward the skull. And letting your eyes sink back and down into the skull. Feeling the forehead expand and soften. And let the cheeks relax, the jaw and the tongue. Feel the shoulders and the collarbones surrender. As you tune into the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Feeling your heartbeat expanding throughout the entire body, softening everything as it does so. The belly, the arms, the hands, the low belly, pelvic floor, and the glutes. The length of your legs, your feet and your toes. Feel the pulsing sensation of the very crown of your head and the space in between the eyebrows. And allow yourself to rest here. If you would like to stay here longer, please feel free to do so. If you're feeling ready to come out of this pose, just allow my cues to guide you. Starting by deepening the breath, calling air back into the body. Wiggling the fingers, the toes, keeping circles with the wrists and the ankles, rocking the head side to side. Just gently waking yourself up. Reach the arms overhead to take a nice morning stretch. And then hugging the knees in toward the chest when you're ready. Making your way to a fetal position on one side. And just leaving your eyes closed for now. Making your way back up to your seat. We'll meet with our hands at heart center when you arrive. Just fully and deeply thanking yourself first. Thanking yourself for rolling out your mat today, for taking the time out of your schedule for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this continue to heal you throughout the rest of your day. May you bring some of this love and light into everything that you do and to everyone that you see. Namaste.